Hello everyone and welcome to the Endlessrise VIP bi-weekly webinar series. Hopefully everyone's having a great week. It is early for us to be having this webinar, but we didn't think people wanted to be attending on Thanksgiving. If everyone could give me a shout out and let me know if you can hear my audio okay and see my screen okay. You should see a snowman. A little early for Christmas here. Alright, great. Everyone's able to see my screen okay and hear me okay. So if you have any issues on your end, you might want to check your settings. So yes, today we will be going over the Local Buzz project management workflow, which I think is going to help a lot of people out whenever you think about selling Local Buzz, to understand exactly what you're in for whenever it comes to project management. So to kick things off first, can I take a pulse here, and if we got any newbies on the line, if you could give a shout out and let me know if you're new, that would be great, so I can see how much we really need to backpedal and cover a couple of basics for the newbies on the line. Oftentimes we're full of veterans, but we'll see if we got some newbies on the line here. Okay, great. Quite a few newbies on the line, as well as looks like quite a few people are giving shots out that saying they're not so new, but they haven't sold Local Buzz as of yet. Before we jump into the Local Buzz project management training, I was going to go over promotions. But I suppose I could ask all of you out there that want to speak up, would you rather me go over the Local Buzz project management and go over the promotions that we have for December afterwards, or would you rather go over promotions first, then do project management later? Oh, that's about a 50-50 tie here. Okay. So we're going to go over the project management first, and then I will be going over the December promotions, which include all of our services as well as special services just for you. So make sure that if you haven't seen our promotions for December, you want to stick around, because as of right now the promotions are only being released through the webinar, although we might be releasing them later. We have not quite yet decided. So let me go ahead and get my slides in place and launch this puppy. Let's see here. Okay, so for Local Buzz project management, Local Buzz is a little bit different from SEO. One of the benefits for Local Buzz is that we don't have to touch the client's website. Now with SEO, yes, we have on-page optimization, which means we need to touch the client's website, and when you make modifications to the client's site, like the navigation, meta tags, things like that, even blog posts, oftentimes you need the client's permission. SEO, for some, could be described as a bit cumbersome with project management, a little bit project management dense. However, typically SEO yields high profit margins, is a high value selling service, so you have the trade-off. Now with Local Buzz, since we don't touch the client's website, it means that there's less restrictions in terms of approvals from the client, and we can move a lot faster. So Local Buzz is not as project management intensive at all as SEO, which is one of the reasons why people try to get their foot in the door in sales with Local Buzz and then follow up later to upsell the client on SEO. As you know, for local service providers, SEO and Local Buzz is ideal, but if only Local Buzz fits the budget, then that might be the better option for them. Might be. So in terms of responsibilities, the responsibilities and where they lie in terms of categorization is the exact same as it would be for SEO. So with the Endlessrise, our responsibility is, of course, to fulfill the operations behind the scenes as well as provide you consulting on the front end. Your responsibility is gathering all of the intake information and any communication that's necessary with a client if there's anything that requires approvals. And of course, the client's responsibility is to answer your questions. Pretty straightforward. Further breakdown on reseller responsibilities, of course, you handle your own lead generation and sales, your client relationships, project management, client communications, client expectations, completion of requirements from the client at every stage is also your responsibility. So, as with SEO, I recommend completing the launch information and managing clients' expectations before launching a campaign with us. And if you missed the SEO project management webinar, which is the last webinar that we did for the Endlessrise biweekly VIP, you definitely want to go and watch that. What I learned from that webinar was that a lot of people are not taking the time to complete the launch information that we need before paying us. In other words, in totality. So steps to take before paying us to launch a local buzz campaign. My recommendations. 1, yes, manage the client's marketing expectations. In terms of managing the client's marketing expectations, the same subject matter comes up over and over again. Does the local buzz rank me higher in the Google Maps, yes or no? Yes, it does have a positive impact in increasing the client's rankings within the Google Maps or the Google plus local search results, right? But it's not the total game that's involved in it. One of the primary ranking factors in the Google Maps rankings is the website itself and the SEO on that website. Yes, that has the highest impacting factor in ranking you in the Google Maps. The local buzz marketing that we will be doing does help to impact a positive influence in ranking them higher in the maps. That is true, but there's so much more to the local buzz. And keep in mind, this project management presentation is assuming that you've already gone through the line item details and you fully understand the local buzz product, what it does. You've probably watched the service consulting overview for the local buzz, which is why I'm not going back through the line items and explaining what local buzz is. Number 2, before you pay for the campaign, communicate their customer support structure to them. If you have a customer support structure that the client needs to abide by, since customer support is something that's included in the service that you sell and it does cost you money, it's something that you need to convey to the client before even you invoice them. Educate them on the check-in meeting schedule and outline if you have one, and then go ahead and invoice your client and, of course, accept payment. Make sure to let them know that the campaign will not be scheduled to start until you have all the information you need to launch the campaign, and provide them a checklist or our public link to the launch form to get that completed. Key step here. You're sitting down with your client and you're in a meeting with them and they're ready to pay for the local buzz campaign, ready to get rolling. Great, fine. Go ahead and manage their expectations. Let them know how your support structure is going to work. Of course, they need to understand the deliverables that you're going to be giving to them and what the service consists of. But make sure to convey to them this very, very key point. You're not going to launch their campaign in your operations until you have all the intake or launch information you need from them to launch that campaign. Don't miss that step. This is the biggest mistake that marketing agencies are making with us, is they go out, close the client, immediately run over to us, pay us, and then they see the launch form. And then they go and start reaching out to the client, but the client doesn't have everything. So you're always struggling to get caught up to complete 100% of the launch information that we get, because you went and closed the client and you didn't inform them that you need to accept all of their launch information before you launch it into operations. My recommendation is, and really what you need to do if you want a streamlined campaign, is to invoice your client, intake all of their launch information on the launch form, which is why we make the launch form available to you before you pay us, and make you at least buy the launch steps, complete it, but most people don't. They'll say, get it to you later, or I don't have this right now, or skip this, but you come back later and have it. Make sure that it's completed. Now pay us to launch the campaign. This way you'll make sure that you have 100% of the launch information complete. If there's ever anything in the launch form that you don't have that we ask for, that we need whenever we're going to launch that campaign, and you do not have it, make sure to clarify with your client that they're going to have to go without that line item in the that's in the proposal, because they didn't get you the information that you need to execute that. But if you come back with us with information that you missed on the launch form, it's going to be an issue. Whoops, got an error pop up here. 1 second. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? Does anyone have any questions on that? Launch form always comes first. So I think it would be pertinent to go over the launch form right now, because that's the very first thing that you do. So after you put through a proposal request, what happens? You get into here and you're going to see the launch form. This is what you're going to fill out whenever, preferably before you launch the campaign. So there's a public link right here, and if you take that public link, you're able to paste it into the browser and give it directly to your client. Now, how many of you think it would be a great idea to come into the launch form, if it's completely empty, grab the link and throw it over to your client? How many of you do that, or how many of you have done that before? Anyone? Does anyone that has launched a local buzz campaign just go in, grab the public link, send it directly over to the client, and have them fill out the form all by themselves? Does anyone do that? Roxy says no. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Francois says, I have done that before. Awesome. Kamal, that's my man. I filled out as much as possible, then sent it over to them while I'm on the phone with them. Wonderful. Yeah. I think that that's a great idea. And I'll say that again. Kamal has wonderful workflow for that. I filled it out as much as possible, then sent it over to them while I was on the phone. But how do you do that? How do you fill this entire thing out, or fill out the fields that you can for them, and not submit the form because there's a submit button? What would you do? How do you fill out part of it and then send them the link and have that information that you filled out that was part of it show up for them? Anyone? Yep. You see the save button up top? There's also one at the bottom. If you submit this, you're not going to be able to continually save it. So what I recommend is, yeah, just like Kamal, before you send over the public link to the client, if you're going to do that, even instead of doing screen sharing, give it over to them, fill out what you can for them to be nice for them, and then ask them to go ahead and go through the rest and verify that everything is 100% correct, and to fill in anything that you are not able to respond to that you need them to fill in.